Hi, thank you for renting my RV. This is my tutorial on how to use it. This is my first time doing this, so this is probably going to suck really bad. But bear with me. We're going to start off driving. So, obviously, first things first, we got the steering wheel tilt here. We have front and back controls side to side here. Boop, boop. Get yourself comfortable. Your mirror controls are here in order to position where the mirrors are. I do ask that you leave the bottom ones alone. Those are manual. Those ones I have perfectly where I like them. And they're comfortable. We're good to go. Go ahead. Keys in the ignition down here. Turn it on. Good example. Doing a loud squeal at us because the air pressure, if you come over here, you can see, is below 75. Once it's above 75 on both of them, it'll start yelling at us. We can still turn the vehicle on, but we want to let it climb to the 75 before we move forward because that's our air brakes, and we would need those to stop, which is a vital part to driving. Since we're waiting for that, if you come back over here, I'll show you a couple other elements. We have your generator right here. In order to power up the generator, it is a diesel generator. We just hold it up. It'll flash green down there, and it just fired on. It'll be solid green. I do use the generator while I'm driving to power the two AC units, but since we're plugged into shore right now, we don't need it. We have the dash fans, which is self-explanatory, up top here, and then the nightshade function to drop the nightshade or open the nightshade. Dome light, so on and so forth. Exhaust brake. Come over here again, you do have an exhaust brake. I tend to leave this function on. Up is on, and it's just what it implies. It helps slow the vehicle down when you're going down a grade. Kind of like an electric vehicle where it has regenerative braking. It just uses the exhaust to help slow the vehicle down. As you can see, we're up to 75. It stops screaming at us. This little gauge here just kind of gets us onto the option menu on this dash here. It shows our generator hours and our mileage. Auxiliary start, if for whatever reason the engine battery is low, we can hold this up and it will use the house batteries to help jump start the rig. And then your wiper blades, your mirrors, adjustments. We have done all the breakdown procedures and we are ready to drive. We're just going to simply put our foot on the brake, push the engine brake off. Currently, if the jacks are down, they'll automatically retract if you put it into gear. I did not know, or take the brake off. Fun fact, don't do that. We can go ahead and push our brake to disengage the brake, and then we go over here, and if we want to go into drive, we can put it into drive. If we want to go in reverse, we push it into reverse. To go back into park, we're going to go into neutral, and then engage the brake. This is for the antenna. The antenna doesn't work. Don't bother touching it. Should always just stay down. So, where all the magic happens, you can view your levels here. As you can see, currently we're low on fresh water. The gray and the black, honestly, is not gospel. I will say once it gets up towards red, you probably should consider slowing it down. The water heater right here, we can go ahead, if we're dry camping, I typically am going to want to do LP gas. If we have a shore hookup, we can do the 110. Don't touch this. This is the magical thing I do not mess with. In case you end up kind of messing up and confusing the system with, say, shore power and the generator, which I've had when I was dry camping, and I had a gas powered generator I plugged in and it co-opted with my diesel generator, the onboard generator. You get what is called an FET overload. So it'll say FET in capital letters right here, overload. The only way I've been able to clear this, which it's only happened once, and I'll show you how to do it, is to go down to the main battery and just pull the main terminal off, shut the house battery off, and then put it back on. It seems to be good at that point. Just be careful if you're gonna plug a generator into the shore power, make sure you shut off the house generator first and give it a good time to draw, because I believe that's just too much amperage going into the system all at the same time. Any electricians are going to make fun of me. It's fine. I don't do electricity. That's why I said don't touch this. If you know how to work it, go right at it. But I don't like this thing because it's the way it is, and I'll leave it alone. Right here's your water pump. You can leave that on at all times. You do have to have the water set to a certain position. We'll go out there and show you in a little bit. And then you got your patio light here, and then your slide, retract, and extend, which we're going to go through on breakdown. Registration, insurance, and all that stuff's in there. So if you get caught speeding, keep a bungee on here while we're traveling, just to keep everything from flying out. You have most of your basic needs here. I'd always suggest for your camping trip, go through it just to make sure you can take out what you don't need. I just ask you put it back. Up here we usually have a little gift basket with some coffee, trash. Again, just kind of shove stuff where you need it. Sink is a normal sink. Feel free to use any of the utilities. The stove is here. Yeah, the stove works. That's good. If you need it, go ahead and use it. I personally don't like using it because we have a Blackstone out there where you keep all the mess outside. Refrigerator. It's a commercial refrigerator. Awesome. Plenty of space. Downside is you either have to be plugged up to shore power, or you have to run the generator in order to power the fridge. I have personally left the fridge without power for about a full day, and when you open it up, it's still cold. If you open and close it several times, it will not stay cold. So it's one of those things where you can kind of leave it unplugged overnight as long as it's cold and all your food in there is cold, and you'll be fine. Thus brings me up to here. The freezer, we have all these ridiculous amount of ice packs, because if I am going to leave the fridge off, I do like to throw an ice pack in the fridge just to kind of keep it as a cooler. Up top here you have an ice maker. Up like this is to shut it off. Up like that is to turn it on. And so obviously once it fills up, it will shut itself off. Ice maker is fantastic, but it will overflow. Real quick, I forgot about this one. With all the technology in the world, the bungee cords seem to work the best. To keep these things dangling here, I go one across the top here, over the freezer. Go ahead and lock that into a hookup in here. Thing about bungees, don't trust the hooks, so I would just be careful. And then we just go ahead and close that there. And then we get another bungee here. And that goes across the top, and I use it to cover up my wife's beautiful wreath that she made me hang up here. Despite the fact it's an RV and it clinks around, that holds that in place. That works perfect. That locks that up. For the front living room area, don't think we got to go into more detail about that. Functions the same way. This can be converted into a, I believe it's a twin, maybe a queen. Small people can sleep in it. The centerpiece, this guy folds down, pretty easy. And underneath the master bedroom bed, the queen bed in there, is the leaf. I'll go ahead and show you. So, while we're here, here's your main fuse block. Something pops, you can open this up, just simply flick it back on. Don't tend to have too many issues with that, but just in case, as you can see in there, there's your middle of your bed for that dining room bed. The couch also converts into a queen bed, has an air mattress built into it. You just go ahead and unfold it, plug it in to the outlets, which are up top here. Pick your choice, and you can go ahead and fill that air mattress, and it reverts back the same way. Up here is where we keep the living room TV remote, which is right behind you there. And then we also have this cool brainchild of my son's, which is the projector. It's kind of neat. With the nightshade down, you can go ahead and pull this out, and you can power on the projector with the button in the back here, and then you go ahead and turn the projector onto the HDMI, which is this Roku here, and you have another Roku remote for the projector. Then you can go ahead and watch a movie right there. It's actually kind of fun with the kids. We also leave a little sound bar in here. It's not the most sophisticated setup, but it actually works pretty good, and it's pretty good quality, and that movie night while you're camping, it's fun. I would say I've watched one person use it since they rented it and they liked it. It took me about 20 hours to install that for one person doing it. Nothing much in that cabinet. This is for the drop-down bunk. So you come up in here. I pretty much always leave this on, but for legal purposes, you probably should shut it off when you're not using it. We do have pins holding it in place. So what we're gonna do is go up with it. Then I am going to come over here, reach up and grab my pins, which are drill bits, because why not? That's all I could find, and somebody who owned it before me lost it. Now that that's up, out, we can go ahead and drop it down. And here too you will find an inflatable mattress. The problem with this one is we like to keep the inflatable mattress up. Crack this open, at which point I put this in here. You'll see it seeds up pretty nicely, and lock it in place. Now that that's in place, plug it in. I go ahead and fill it up, and then it also has a vacuum to evacuate all the air out of it. And then once that's done, we're ready to go. Come back up here, twist this out, pull it out. I did notch this right here, if you can see. So the reason for this notch is because this little unit here has a bit of a bulge on the back side. We just line that bulge up with that notch, so that way the bunk can go all the way back up again. If we don't, we won't be able to get the pins in, which isn't the end of the world, but it will start to kind of sag. So I'd hate to be driving it without the pins in and have it fall on my head. As you can see, if you look down, it's not going to crush you. It would stop at this point, but it surely would make it for an uncomfortable situation. Got my pins in hand, all the way. Slide the pin back in here. Slide the pin back in here. And I actually wanted this to happen, so it does slag slow, or it does drop slowly. So if I don't get to the second pin in time, I'm simply going to go down real quick, just real quick, and then back up to pull it back up to the ceiling nice and tight. Come over a little bit quicker and get that pin. Now that both pins are in, to kind of lock them in place, I'm just going to press down for a second. Now the pins aren't going nowhere. Shut it off. Starlink. This is a two-part setup. So we go ahead and provide the Starlink. I just leave this guy here. I plug it in. That's pretty much good to go. And then we come out here. We have the satellite. Simply pull this out. I usually go up front if you're brave. I usually go up front in an inconspicuous place where it's not going to get ran over. Simply point it away from the RV, and you should have internet. If you don't have internet, give me a call, and I can go ahead and I may have to have you position it, but I have to do it through the app. So the network name is LVP Mobile. And then the password is Palazzo, capital P, lowercase the rest, 33.3. I did this so no matter how much fun you're having, you won't forget. Through the lower cabinets real quick. Inside here is the batteries, the house batteries. If you remember earlier, I was telling you about that FET overload. So if that does happen, the generator, the inverter's not going to work anymore. I'm sure you could wait it out in some reset program or process. I haven't really looked into it that deep. All's what I do, come in here, generator's off, everything's off, the motor's off. I'll go ahead and shut the house battery off here from on to off. And then I'll just go ahead. I keep this guy in here the whole time. It is a 14, and I just come in here, loosen up this terminal here. This is your main terminal. Unhook it, wait about 5 seconds, put it back down, tighten it up nice and good, turn the house battery back on, should be good to go. Again, if you're an electrician, that's not how you do it, please let me know. In here, we got our water, our sewage, and really not too much business in here, other than when you're hooking up to fill up water and empty the byproducts of water. In here, we got all your hoses, that little cable in here, you just pull, open that one. You do have some cornhole, that's what I was going for. You got a fire pit, you feel free to use. It's got a propane line there, and you hook it up to the propane tank that has a splitter, so you could use both the stove and the propane fire pit. And here is your propane tank for the rig. Doesn't really need to be accessed, but if for whatever reason you need to fill it up, just fill it up in here. There's your main shut off, easy peasy. Fuel on both sides, so you can fill up either side. In here, we just have some basic tools. As you can hear right here, you have your generator running. That's all that's in there that you could possibly need. The key ports on the main keychain on both sides. Front right here, you have your Starlink and a lot of storage ability. I'd say just put the storage underneath the Starlink. Fuel. Here you got some trash can, floor mat, whatever you want to use it for. Here's your grill, here's your propane tank, here's your splitter for the propane tank. Honestly, by the time you see this, it's probably all changed around because people pull it out, put it back, and I do the same thing. Don't worry that much about it. Leaf blower. And battery for the... Here you have a little table. It's the chintziest table I've ever purchased, but it works great for holding the grill. That is your depth fluid. Depth fluid is stupid California stuff, but you have to have it or else it doesn't run. And then here's your inverter. Really no reason to be in here. And the awning. Last but not least, the awning simply has some power buttons right here. And it's as simple as awning out. Awning in. I will say, notice, they look like they're seating just fine, but every once in a while I like to just give a little tap, make sure they're in place. They look fine right now. That's it. I have a remote. You do have some basic cleaning necessities, step stools, Swiffer, that type of stuff. Really just cabinetry, nothing too much to know back here. We do also have some other cooking utensils if you're interested in using, like a crock pot, and then some kind of plastic cover. Right here is the back AC unit. It simply functions by pressing down on whatever setting you want. So if fan's on automatic, we can go to high, low. I keep it on auto. And then cool, obviously set to whatever desired temperature. I prefer 72. And then the furnace is kind of self-explanatory. That's the off mode right there. It's hot right now, so we're going to keep that at 70. Ceiling lights. And then right here with this TV, we keep the remote down in here along with a bunch of other remotes I'm scared to throw away because I don't know what they go to, so they just stay there. Some floor mats and Monopoly, which I'm sure is missing a lot of pieces, but there it is. And absolutely nothing up here except for light bulbs in case you need them. The LED we should never replace. Inside here, my favorite room, the bathroom. You can go ahead, if you're dry camping, recommend doing what we call military shower. Set your temperature to what your desired temperature is, and then rinse off, shut off the water stream, and then shut it back on after you're soaked up to rinse off, and then you can shut it back off again. Pretty self-explanatory. Got a fan up here. You could actually travel with this open. It does have a cover on it, so you don't have to worry about breaking that lid. You do have the bidet, awesome for camping. Toilet paper. We always try to supply you with plenty of RV toilet paper. Do not use any sort of wipes or any other toilet paper other than the RV toilet paper, or else you risk clogging the black water tank, which is no bueno. If you do flush the system, gray, go ahead and put one of these down once it's empty and run some water in it. This helps keep the gray water clean. And then for the black water, you just throw a couple of these down into the toilet, let it run a little bit, keeps everything smelling fresh. Little plunger here in case something gets clogged up. And now we're going to go ahead and go through the breakdown procedure. Breakdown, I think I'm just going to do one because we don't need to do a breakdown and setup. I actually have a little cheat sheet there that the old timer I bought this from kind of already gave me. Kind of helps for breaking down and setting up. But right now we're at the campsite. We've got everything loaded, all the family's in, time to leave. But we haven't pulled in the slides yet. We haven't lifted up the jacks yet, so we're going to start off with that. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and pull in this main slide here. So we're going to want to make sure there's nothing blocking this or in the way of it. Now, this is important, especially when it comes to the getting to camp, because we definitely want to make sure nothing's behind this, because a lot of times people put something behind their seat there, will crush this and knock off the trim. Now come here, we go ahead and retract slide. Slide system is known as a Swing Tech slide system. They suck. They're squeaky, they're slow. There's a reason they don't make them anymore. And I'm going to pretty soon show you exactly why they suck super bad. But for now, this main slide is operating perfectly. It's just very, very slow. So once we get all the way in, should have some space to still navigate, but as you can see, it's gotten a lot narrower. I go ahead and I push the slide to extend one time really quick, and what that does is reset it, and then I press it in again. You'll hear it kind of creak and pull in. I just want to triple check that it's all the way in. Kind of the ghetto version, and I've already, if you're renting from me, I'll either fix this and switch this video, but you are currently renting with me. You can see the bed got stuck up there. This backside's been giving me problems. I have the sequence of getting it open, so what I'll go ahead and show you real quick is that sequence. So it's not simply press and hold the button. You're actually going to have to do a quick out, out, in, out, out, in. Let me show you. It's not exactly broken, so I'm not going to fix it just yet. So now that we've done all that, now ready to retract the jacks. In order to do so, we need to fire the RV up. Let the diesel coil here shut off, knowing that the vehicle is ready to start. Fire it up. And then if you come up over here, you'll see our leveling, ultra level system. I'm going to go ahead and press the on-off button, and then we're simply going to press where it says retract here, all jacks. Violently drops down. Now, when we're leveling the jacks, all what we're simply going to do, once we have it in park and we've released the air from the auto air leveling system, we're going to just press auto. And the auto will automatically level it. Don't got to do nothing. If for whatever reason you feel like you want to do it yourself, you don't trust the auto leveling system, you have man here, you press man for manual, and you can just press each level, whether it's left, right, up, or front, back. If this system gives you a problem, you'll see all 4 light or all 5 of these lights flashing. Then you just hold all 4 front, left, right, and rear buttons together, and that'll reset the system. Only happened to me once, but if it happens to you, know you know. Now that the jacks are up and off the ground, we're gonna want to kick this into automatic air leveling. This is going to affect the ride height. You're going to get reminded real quick if you don't do this, because as you'll see, once it's on the ground, it's super low to the ground. So you'll hear it dragging really quick. That pop noise is the air ride seating. That's okay. It's just the airbag seating into there. Should be one more. But don't be worried when that happens. It would have been cool if the one more would have happened. So, again, pretty important that we go ahead and we make sure before we start that we put that auto on. So again, part of the checklist that you have in front of you. Same thing when you're on the road. When you get to the destination, first thing you're going to do is go ahead, park, put it in neutral, apply your air brake, and then go ahead and drop it into lower. And then you go ahead and put the jacks up, and then the slides will not operate unless you shut the motor off. So you're going to want to shut the motor off, put the slides out, obviously make sure you're clear of everything. Doesn't hurt to have an extra set of eyes. Or you can always just open this up, stick your head out the window. Looks good. Now, I'm about to unplug the household, so I want to keep the AC rolling. Summertime, still hot. I like to start the generator now. So that way the AC keeps rolling while we unhook. So let's go unhook. Pull it out. That's that. We're going to go up then to our power source. We'll unhook it from our power source here. And then I'm not particular, you can just shove it in there, but honestly, I like to do a little coil with it. Everything comes inside here. We just toss it all on a big pile. I like to do the power cord first because it's heavy and I don't want all the other stuff's lighter, so I'd rather take the other stuff off and then pull the heavy power cord out at the bottom. You do have a fire pit there. If you want to use it, go right ahead. Your black or your sewage hose ramp right there. Extra sewage hose if you need it. But all your power and water lines are going to go in there. I have this setup here, just designed to go so you could have dual fittings. The black hose is for the black water tank flush. We don't want to use this for drinking water. The white hose is a food grade hose. It is attached to a filter as well as a water pressure regulator. We don't want to mess with this because we don't want to have too high of pressure in the RV, because if you blow the lines in the RV, it becomes a mess really quick. In here, this is where, right now, we're hooked up to water. Right here, this is your main water hookup. So, because we're hooked up to water, I just basically leave it right here, and you'll see there, it says city, I don't know what it says. It says city fixture. City fixture means we're just running off of the city water, and we don't need to do anything once the water supply is on. If I'm trying to fill the tank, I go ahead and twist it down here, down to here where it's filling the onboard 95 gallon water tank. So that, once that's completely full, you'll see it overflow over the top. That's how you know it's full and you're good to go. This takes a while to fill up, so I would leave about 10-15 minutes if you need to do that. Now, if we don't have any hookup to the city water line, we're gonna put it on normal, and that's where you need the water pump. So this is where it has to be if you're using the water pump that I showed you earlier inside above the entry door. So now, I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up because the next guy using this is gonna probably want a full tank of water for his travels. A little bit of hiccup there, but back to where we were. Got our black tank for the toilet. We got our gray for the sink and the shower. So I like to go ahead, hook up my sewage line, and then I go ahead and do a little test pull on the gray just to make sure everything's seated, there's no leaks. I don't want to use that completely because I like to kind of flush the line with that. That being said, this out of the way here. Black water flush. It's not black water, it's actually just water there. But then what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I know everything's solid, it's hooked to the sewage line. I pull the black, let it drain all the way out. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is once it's all the way empty, close it back up, hook up our black sewer line, our black sewage flush right here, turn this on. This doesn't have a pressure regulator, so this will go ahead and shoot, and what it does is shower down on the black water, or the black tank, and I let this fill up for about 8 minutes. And then once that's filled up, I go ahead and open this up again, let it all drain out, and you'll start to see there's a clear valve at the end that you can see where, not a clear valve, but a clear joint like this, where you can kind of see what's going through it, and it'll get progressively cleaner. Close it, and I will do this about 4 repetitions. On the 3rd repetition, I will go ahead and open my gray, let the rest of the gray out. That's just clean soapy water. Open, then close that back up, and then I'll go ahead and open this up, the black, to flow it out one last time. Make sure the water is super clean. I personally want it to look like drinking water at the end of it all. Helps eliminate odor when you're driving, all that nasty smells. Close it back up. Want to make sure you can see right there. See, you hear a little, you just want to make sure it's all the way in. Maybe it won't pop every time. Shut off your water on this guy. Open it up. As you saw before, the water will come out. Not a big deal. It's not coming from the tank. It's coming from the hose that goes to the black water flush. Now that we're all done with that, we unhook all our lines here, and we are pretty much going to stow them back in that same cabinet that we showed you earlier. We'll go ahead and stow them all in this cabinet here, and we're pretty much good to go. And then you revert back to the driving process, and that's basically it. I do like to go around, just kind of do a little, make sure they're closed. Like to check the edges. There's a little bit of a gap here, but nothing crazy. Little fawns there. Go around. Like to look underneath it here. Yeah, all the jacks are up. Just kind of do a once over, make sure it's good to go. But that's pretty much it. Thank you.